Hello everyone, I hope you're having a beautiful day. So welcome to today's mini training on dissociation and embodiment. So we're first going to start by just defining these terms. So dissociation is basically a state where you are disconnected from yourself and your environment. Embodiment, on the other hand, means, being in connection with your physical environment, yourself. You can think of it as embodied means to be in your body. So when you are in your body, what are you doing? You are noticing how you feel, you're noticing what's happening around you, the smells, the tastes, the sights, the sounds, that sort of stuff. So how does this show up in daily life? So when we are dissociating, it usually happens when we get triggered. So, something happens and dissociation just comes in immediately with like fear and shame. So it's like, oh my God, what am I feeling? What is going on? I shouldn't be feeling this way. This is wrong. This is stupid, etc. You know what I'm talking about? It's that voice inside your head that immediately starts judging yourself. And then when this happens, dissociation tries to find a way to avoid or to distract or to numb. So, you're feeling all these overwhelming emotions and your first thought might be, I don't want to feel them anymore. So what are you going to do? You're going to start, looking for something to take your mind off of it. So a lot of ways that people dissociate are overeating, binge watching TV, drinking alcohol, doing all of these things that help us focus on something in our environment that is not us, that is not what we're feeling. And then eventually, if we do this enough, dissociation becomes a pattern of self-judgment and self-hate. Because when you think that we should just push aside what you're feeling, then you begin to feel like there's something wrong with you. And as humans, we're just deeply emotional. And, dissociation is something that we're taught, yet it's not the best way to deal with overwhelming emotions. And that's why I want to talk to you also about embodiment. So embodiment is a practice where you really just sink into your body when you're feeling triggered. And I know that this is way easier than it sounds. So for embodiment, you can think of being in your body. So the first step to, moving with embodiment, especially when you're feeling upset, is to take a moment, breathe, and think, what am I feeling in my body? What sensations are coming up? So I know for me personally, when I'm feeling really upset, it's in my stomach. I, get nausea, stomach pains, it's hard to eat. So by taking an embodied approach, I recognize that, my trauma, my anxiety, stress, whatever you want to call it, is showing up in my body. It shows up in all of our bodies. And I just listen to my body. And I realize that, again, this does sound a little easier than it actually is, yet when we see that, these things are lessons and not anything to be afraid of, then we can move into the next stage of, embodiment, which is trying to understand. So it's like, okay, I'm feeling upset, my stomach is hurting, and I'm thinking, what may have upset me, I think in our culture, we're just so easy to brush it off. I shouldn't be upset, all of these things, these judgments, because we're told to disregard our emotions. Yet, it's important to understand what is upsetting us so that we can fix the problem, because ultimately, we want to get to the root of the problem. And then the last step for embodiment is just simply like sitting and making space for everything that's coming up. I think this is really important because even when practicing embodiment, I found it personally, like I was putting a lot of pressure on myself to figure out what was happening. So I was like, I'm upset. Why am I upset? Like really wanting to show myself care, yet still using sort of that shaming and the blame and the judgment. So a lot of embodiment is just making space for yourself, holding space for what you're feeling. And ultimately, you will be able to notice patterns with yourself, and you will, have that relationship with yourself where you are showing yourself like care and nurturing and compassion and love, ultimately, the love that you're looking for. So just to recap, disassociation really deals with disconnection from ourselves that stems from shame and fear and judgment and avoiding all of our emotions. And embodiment is really about, just holding space for yourself, sinking into your body, noticing what you're feeling, and trying to figure out why and get to the root of it. Because as we all know, distraction, avoiding, that doesn't change anything. That simply just puts a band-aid on things, and they just end up coming up so much later. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. Dissociation and embodiment. Those of you who follow me, you definitely know that I work to live with embodiment. I'm not perfect. There are definitely times where I dissociate, yet on this journey I see myself taking steps to really live this approach. So yeah, I wanted to share that with you. Let me know what you think and what's showing up in your life. Are you feeling like you got a lot of dissociation, a lot of embodiment? Let me know in the comments below, and yeah, talk to you soon. Peace.